Unshakable Faith, Lessons from Jesus Christ to Empower Your Life. Have you ever faced a moment where everything seemed impossible? When the weight of life pressed down so hard, you felt like giving up? Let me tell you about someone who understands. Someone who turned rejection into redemption, suffering into salvation, and death into everlasting life. His name is Jesus Christ. In the next few moments, you'll discover how his life, his words, and his unwavering love can inspire you to rise above any challenge. Let's dive into the greatest story ever told, the story of Jesus Christ, and how it can transform your life today. First, let's understand who Jesus Christ is. Born in humble beginnings, in Bethlehem. Jesus wasn't born into wealth, power, or privilege. He came into the world as a servant, yet his influence has spanned over 2 millennia. The Bible tells us in John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life." Jesus came to bridge the gap between humanity and God. But his life also serves as the ultimate blueprint for living with purpose, courage, and resilience. Jesus didn't have an easy life. From the very beginning, he faced opposition. As a child, King Herod sought to kill him. As an adult, he was ridiculed, betrayed by friends, and ultimately crucified. But through it all, Jesus remained steadfast. He taught us that perseverance is possible when your foundation is built on faith. In Matthew 7:24-25, Jesus says, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundation on the rock." Your challenges may feel overwhelming, but with faith like Jesus, you can weather any storm. The key: focus on the unshakable, not the temporary. One of the most powerful lessons from Jesus is his unconditional love. He loved the outcasts, the sinners, and even those who hated him. On the cross, he prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. Think about that for a moment. Even in his darkest hour, Jesus chose love. How often do we hold grudges, allow bitterness to consume us, or respond to hate with hate? Jesus shows us that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. When you choose love, you break chains of anger, fear, and resentment. You set yourself free. Imagine what your life would look like if you loved like Jesus. Who could you forgive? How could you heal relationships that seem beyond repair? In a world that glorifies power and status, Jesus turned leadership on its head. He didn't lead with an iron fist, but with a servant's heart. In John 13:14-15, Jesus washes his disciples' feet and says, "Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." Leadership isn't about titles or control, it's about serving others. Whether you're a parent, a manager, or simply a friend, ask yourself, how can I serve the people around me? When you lead with humility, you inspire others to follow with loyalty and trust. One of the hardest lessons to embrace is that pain has a purpose. Jesus understood this more than anyone. He endured betrayal, torture, and the cross. Yet, he didn't let his suffering define him. In Hebrews 12:2, we're reminded, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Jesus endured the cross because he saw the bigger picture, the joy of salvation for all humanity. What if your pain is preparing you for something greater? Think about a time when you faced a trial that felt unbearable. Looking back, did it teach you something? Did it make you stronger? Trust that God can use your pain for a purpose, just as he did with Jesus. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles we face, but Jesus consistently taught us to choose faith over fear. In Matthew 14:29-31, when Peter walked on water but began to sink, Jesus said, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" When you step out in faith, you might feel afraid, but that's when you need to keep your eyes on Jesus. Don't let the waves of doubt pull you under. Remember, Jesus is there to lift you up. Faith doesn't mean you won't face challenges. It means trusting that God will carry you through them. Finally, Jesus teaches us to live with hope. The resurrection is the ultimate symbol of hope, that even in the face of death, life prevails. In John 11:25-26, Jesus declares, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die, and whoever lives by believing in me will never die." Hope isn't just wishful thinking. It's the confident expectation that God's promises are true. When you live with hope, you inspire others to believe that better days are ahead. Jesus Christ's life is the ultimate story of triumph over adversity, love over hate, and hope over despair. He shows us that no matter how dark the night, the dawn will always come. So, as you face your own challenges, remember, you have the strength to persevere. You have the power to love. You have the ability to lead with humility. Your pain has a purpose, and you can always choose faith over fear. Let Jesus be your guide, your rock, and your inspiration, because with him, all things are possible. Thank you for watching. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And remember, you're never alone. Jesus is with you every step of the way.